everyone, so I'm doing another book review, and this time I'm part of a reading group on Goodreads called Bookbusters, and so for this month we're reading To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han, and that is the May book of the month. And so I read this book, I finished it today, and so I'm going to do a quick review on it. So first of all, I'm going to do a non-spoilery part and then the spoilery part. So for the first part, I'll just say this book follows the main character's Laura Jean, and she writes these letters whenever she has a crush on a guy or falls in love with a guy. She writes these letters, these love letters, pouring out her heart and all her feelings for these guys into the letters, but she doesn't ever give it to them. She keeps them hidden in this hat box her mother gave her and hides it in her room in this hat box. So one day she comes home and finds that the hat box is missing and all of the letters have been mailed out. She doesn't know how this happened, but she's sort of freaking out because now she's got these guys coming to her saying, "Hey, what's up with this letter you sent me?" So she has to deal with all of that. So I will say this book, I would have never picked it up on my own. First of all, I'm not a very big contemporary reader. Contemporary is okay, but I like more fantasy and sci-fi, and so I'm not really big on contemporary, so it's not a book I would have picked out on my own. And I've heard a lot of things about this book from YouTube, and I've heard a lot of great reviews about it, so I decided, okay, maybe I'll check it out, I'll give it a shot and read it. Turns out it is actually better than I thought it would be, but at the same time, it's not as great as people make it seem. Like, I feel like it's really sort of hyped up too much, because I thought it was a good book, but I just don't think it was all that great that everyone seems to be so excited and like, oh my gosh, I love this book, and I don't know, I'm sorry, I just think it was an okay, it was a good read, but not really that great. Anyway, so I'll get on to what I sort of thought about the book. First off, the main character, Laura Jean, she's 16, but I feel like I'm reading from a 13-year-old point of view. She's very juvenile, very immature. So that was one thing that I didn't really like. But there were a lot of cute, funny scenes in the book. There were some scenes where I was like laughing along and like smiling at some parts. So there was some scenes that were really great. There's a scene in the book where it's Halloween and they have this like little Harry Potter thing going on with Laura Jean and one of the other characters, and I really liked that part. I thought it was cute and funny, and so I loved that part. But anyway, the book, I gave it 3.5 stars. So it was better than I thought. I had very low expectations going into this book because it's not something I would normally pick up on my own. For one, it's contemporary and I don't read much contemporary, and for two, because of the premise of the book, but it actually turned out to be more than just what the synopsis seems to be. There's a lot about family and Laura Jean and her two sisters. You really see their relationships and how they interact with each other, which is really nice. So there's more to this book than what it may sound like from the summary, the synopsis. So that's kind of what surprised me and made me like it a little bit more than I thought I would. So, but overall, it wasn't a bad book. I gave it a 3.5 stars. But I think that's it for the non-spoilery part. So for everyone who has not read this book yet, go away and, give it a shot if you like contemporary. It's a very quick read. It's only 355 pages, so it's a very quick read. So, yeah, give it a shot if you like contemporary. It's a very light, quick read. So, goodbye to everyone who has not read the book yet. And for the people who have read the book, I'm going to go into some spoilery parts. So first off, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the characters. Like I said before, Laura Jean I thought was younger than she is. She's 16, but from her voice in the book, I felt like I was reading from a 13-year-old's point of view. She's very naive, very kind of like a little bit clueless as to how things work and what happened. Like, kind of hard to explain, but she just doesn't feel her age. Like, I feel like she's not a 16-year-old character. In fact, her younger sister in the book, Kitty, she's 9, and I feel like Laura Jean is closer to Kitty's age. I feel like they're almost on par. Now, going on to Kitty, a lot of people, she's 9, so a lot of people see her as like this cute, adorable 9-year-old kid. I thought she was a brat. She was very bratty at times and very rude at times. Some of the things that she would say and do, I'm like, oh my goodness. I can't even say, she was such a brat. There's this one part where Kitty, Laura Jean, and Peter, the love interest, they're all in the car, and Peter says something, I forget what he says, but Kitty looks at him and says, "Was I talking to you?" "No, I was talking to my sister." And I was like, whoa, that was rude. I wanted to smack her. So I thought she was very bratty, and I feel like she's one of those girls that's gonna grow up to be a mean girl, especially when you get to the end of the book and you find out that Kitty was actually the one that sent out all those letters, Laura Jean's love letters. She sent them out because Laura Jean was teasing her one day about a boy she liked. She didn't even say the boy's name. Laura Jean didn't even say the boy's name, but she was teasing her a little bit about the boy she liked, and Kitty got mad, and because of that, she sent out those letters. And I thought that was such a mean, bratty thing to do, and I was like, she's going to be one of those girls that grows up to be a mean girl, like, who bullies other girls and terrorizes them, and I picture her being that girl. Because that was so vindictive of what she did, and for something as little as your sister teasing you, I mean, sisters tease. I don't see that as a reason to do that. And it did shock me at the end when I found out it was her that sent the letters. Because I knew she was a brat in the book, but I didn't figure her to be that mean and vindictive. So that did surprise me a little bit. So moving on, another character, Peter, is one of the main love interests in this book. And Peter, it's funny because first half of the book, every time I read Peter's name, I kept thinking Peeta from Hunger Games. And so I still have Peeta's name in my head. But anyway, Peter, I thought he was an okay character, but I thought that he really needed to figure out what he wanted. Because you see him starting to like Laura Jean. So they're in this fake relationship to make his ex jealous or whatever. And he says he starts to fall for Laura Jean and says it's over between him and his ex. He's over her. But obviously he's not. You can see there's something still there because he still always runs to her whenever she calls. And he's sneaking around her house and stuff. And I just thought, Peter really needs to decide what he wants. If he likes Laura Jean and he wants to be with her, then he really needs to let go of Genevieve, his ex. And he can't be running back to her every time she calls him over. So I think he needs to get his game straight with that. And then the other thing I thought about Peter was, so towards the end, there's this rumor started that on the school ski trip, Laura Jean and Peter hooked up in the hot tub. And obviously, Genevieve was very jealous of Peter and Laura Jean's relationship. And it's pretty obvious she's the one who started the rumor, which isn't true at all. But Peter says that his friends asked him about it, and he told them that they didn't hook up or anything. But at the same time, it's like the whole school is talking about how they hooked up, and it's really ruining Laura Jean's reputation. And you can see how sad and down she's getting about this. And I thought Peter, I keep wanting to say Peter, I thought Peter should have really made it a point to let everyone know, no, we did not hook up, this is just Genevieve being jealous and vindictive and starting a rumor. Because Peter is one of the popular guys at school, so people will take him at his word. Laura Jean is very quiet. She's very quiet, very shy kid, and so she doesn't speak much. But Peter has got that whole popularity thing going. He's on top of the school, so people will listen to him. And I felt like if he were to squash the rumor right then and there and say, hey, no, this is not true, people would really listen and stop talking about it. But he really didn't do that much. So anyway, there's also kind of a love triangle in this book with Laura Jean, Peter, and Laura Jean's older sister's ex-boyfriend, Josh, who she has a crush on, who she gave a letter to. So, yeah, I really don't like love triangles, like I said before. So, just kind of annoyed me. But anyway, that's all I have for this book. If you guys read it, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts were, what you liked, what you didn't like, and I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye.